Imagine building one of the most successful companies in the world, only to be fired from it. Most people would never recover. Most people would give up. But one man refused to quit. That man was Steve Jobs, a visionary, a dreamer, a man whose ideas changed the lives of billions. This is the complete story of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was born in 1955. Shortly after birth, he was adopted by another family. Although he was loved and cared for, he always wondered where he truly belonged. As a child, Steve was curious about everything. He loved taking things apart. Electronics fascinated him. While other children played games, Steve spent hours learning how machines worked. Nobody knew it then, but this curiosity would eventually change the world. As Steve grew older, his passion for technology became stronger. He met another young man named Steve Wozniak. Together, they shared a dream: to build computers for ordinary people. At that time, computers were expensive, complicated, and mostly used by large organizations. But Steve Jobs believed technology should be simple, beautiful, and available to everyone. In 1976, inside a small garage, Apple was born. At first, very few people believed in them. They had limited money, limited resources, and huge competition. But Steve had something powerful: vision. He could see the future before others could. Slowly, Apple started growing. People loved their products. Investors became interested. And soon, the small garage company became one of the fastest-growing businesses in America. Success changed everything. Steve Jobs became famous. Apple became worth millions. The company expanded rapidly. But with success came pressure. Arguments increased. Leadership conflicts appeared. And tension inside Apple grew stronger. The company Steve helped create was becoming difficult to control. Then something shocking happened. In 1985, Steve Jobs was fired from Apple. Imagine that. The founder, removed from his own company. It was devastating, painful, humiliating. For a while, Steve felt lost. The dream he spent years building was gone. Most people would have quit forever. But Steve Jobs was not most people. Instead of giving up, Steve started over. He created a new company called Next. He continued learning, continued building, continued dreaming. Around the same time, he invested in a small animation studio. That studio would later become Pixar. And Pixar would go on to create some of the most successful animated films in history. Steve was proving something important. Failure does not define your future. Your response to failure does. Years later, Apple began struggling. The company needed help. And surprisingly, they turned to the man they once fired. Steve Jobs returned. This moment changed history. Under his leadership, Apple became innovative again. Products became simpler, more beautiful, more powerful, and the world started paying attention once more. Then came revolutionary products: iPhone, MacBook, iPod. These devices transformed modern life. Communication changed. Business changed. Entertainment changed. The technology world would never be the same again. Steve Jobs wasn't just creating products. He was creating the future. Steve Jobs faced many challenges throughout his life: failure, rejection, pressure, criticism. Yet he continued moving forward. His story teaches us something powerful. You don't need perfect circumstances. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You simply need the courage to keep going. Today, billions of people use technology influenced by his vision, and his name remains one of the most recognized in history. Steve Jobs proved that failure is not the opposite of success. Sometimes, failure is part of success. The man who was fired from Apple returned to change the world, and that is why his story continues to inspire millions.